What's going on, everybody out there? We finna get ready to get started in just a bit. We got a really special show coming for you tonight. So y'all better hold on to your hats and buckle up because we about to get ready to have a really fun ride. And I got something very special in store for each and every one of you. So stay tuned, get ready, because we about to tighten up for real. I thank y'all for tuning in. We finna have a whole lot of fun.
Titans up. I've been scoping from the sideline, waiting for the right time to send the precious team to scrimmage. So I'm busting y'all. Welcome to another street. We got this here. Don't worry back. We got this here. We just need it so. Out your lap. Don't worry about it. See, we got this here. It's a brand new dance and it's about to go live. Titan up, Nashville from the 615. First you tighten 2 steps, step to the right. Then you tighten 2 step to the left. Blue jerseys everywhere. Game face, yeah, we got it all. Sticking out our chest, beating on it like it's King Kong. Come that. He's about to get her up. Here come the train, y'all. Tennessee, tighten up. Let's get tightened up.
Good evening, Titan Nation. What is going on, everybody? Welcome into the 4-year anniversary show of Titans in Truth. I'm your man, Chris, a.k.a. Blue Enforcer, and I guarantee you we are about to have some fun tonight. I guarantee it. Yeah, make sure y'all start sharing the show out. You got it on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Make sure you tell everybody about it as we get everybody falling in. And we're about to have some fun. I got some very special guests that are about to come on, and we're finna definitely talk some Tennessee Titans football. So without further ado, let's just get it underway. First and foremost, I got coming on my guy from Titans Tube. We got Mr. Jacque on the line. Mr. Jacque, how's it going?
It's going great. How you doing tonight? Congrats on 4 years of the channel. Thanks so much for having me.
No problem. We are gonna have some fun. I appreciate y'all coming on and stepping in, coming in, and definitely shout out to Justin of Titans Tube as well. I understand he got to work. He got to, he got to take care of business, and I definitely understand.
For sure.
We got up next. Your friends and mine, one of the famous people of this Titan community, the one and only Mr. Mark, a.k.a. Titan Upload, in the building. How's it going, Mr. Titan Upload?
Hey, True. Thanks for the invite. And again, congratulations on the 4 years. An amazing 4 years. How about this? 4 more years. 4 more years for you, buddy.
I definitely like the sound of that. Hey, I like that. I appreciate it. And now, without further ado, we got a few more guests coming in. We all gonna be talking and having a good time with all of you. So the screen's finna get a little full, y'all, but we gonna handle this. We got my guys, Hawk and Jacque. We got Tennessee Titans Weekly.
Oh, hey, congrats on 4 years, Chris. Hey, the big 4. As my guy Upload said, 4 more years. 4 years. I like that, Upload.
Hey.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey. 4 more years, man. Congratulations on 4 years. The grind continues. You know what I mean? For those that don't know about doing podcasts, it's a grind if you want to do it, man. And you definitely been doing that, man. So good stuff, brother.
Congratulations.
I appreciate it. So I gotta basically say, I appreciate y'all coming on and everything. We gonna have a good time. I guarantee it. And now, last but certainly not least, y'all, I told y'all I had a surprise for everybody on, and here it is. Mr. Titan might be joining us a little bit later, so stay tuned for that. But last but not least, a very special guest, a very important lady in the Tennessee Titans media community, a very special Tennessee Sports Writer of the Year. She is back on the show. Please welcome back Miss Teresa Walker to the show. Miss Teresa, welcome on in. And as I think all the other guys are doing, we give much respect to the queen of Titans media.
Absolutely.
Thank you, and happy 4-year anniversary to you.
Hey, I definitely appreciate that. And we got a lot of people coming in. Titans Up, what's going on? Titans Mafia. K True, what's going on? Miss Margarita, thank y'all. Thank y'all so much. And we're going to keep it going for another 4 years and even more than that. But, y'all, I think it's time we get ready to talk some football. What you think?
Sounds good.
Sounds great.
Let's do it.
Yes, indeed. Because you know,
you sure you don't want to start off with burgers first?
Yeah.
That seems to be the big hit
I
in
was
Tennessee right
reading all
now.
about it.
You know, I thought about some burgers or something like that. Maybe something tasty. I don't know what I got in mind, but I'm going to have to find somewhere real good with some good, just juicy. Oh, dag, I'm on a diet. Not really. Let me stop lying right there. But I definitely do thank everybody for coming on, and we're finna get ready to talk some serious football and everything. But let's get right into this. Now, I know we were all kind of down and downtrodden and messed up with the Tennessee Titans. Comeback falls a bit short, 27-24. We've all talked about this game. Definitely want to close the book on this and move on. Steven Gostowski, a.k.a. Suckstowski, just ripped our hearts out missing that field goal. But again, when you have a team like Pittsburgh who holds the ball for almost 20 minutes in the first half and we barely have the ball, we kind of put ourselves in that situation. So what I want to ask everybody here tonight is, how do you feel after this particular game? We get our first loss of the year. We'll go around the room. We'll let ladies first, as Coach Vrabel would do. We're going to let Miss Teresa go first. And how are we feeling about this team going forward? Because I've been hearing a lot of stuff as far as Titan fans being down. Titan fans saying, oh, my God, the defense just stinks, and what are we going to do about it? Miss Teresa, I'm going to let you go first. How are you feeling after the Titans are now 5-1?
It's frustrating because I'll admit I had a second screen going. My better story Sunday was the Titans coming back yet again to win after just an ugly first half. I had to kill that story. But as AJ Brown and a couple others said, this gives them, when you're winning, you push things under the rug. Now they have no excuse. They have to work on these things. Third down defense, red zone defense. We know those have been horrible. And so guess what? You know how it is. If you're making A's in class, I didn't make a ton of them, but when you're making A's, you don't work as hard, you don't do the homework. Well, now they've had the rap on their knuckles from the ruler, and Vrabel and all those coaches have now got their attention in the meeting rooms, on the practice field, to hone in on the details. And as Vrabel made it clear on Monday, it's all 11 on defense. Everybody's got to be working together. And guys, I can't help but think back to the fact that, for 16 days, they had a total of 2 walkthroughs and a glorified walkthrough that they called a practice. And then they played a game. Then they had another short week. So I think that it's a combination of, not much practice time over the last month, and just the ability to hone in on some details. And again, when life is good and the money's coming in, you don't think about, oh, I got these credit card bills coming due. Well, suddenly they're due, and easier to fix now, because now you've got Cincinnati coming up next, and before you deal with the Bears and then the Colts and the Ravens. So, this gives you a good couple of weeks to maybe hone in on this, get this fixed. This is a team that was really good last year on third downs. The challenge is that they're 24 third down conversions away through just 6 games of matching all that they gave up all of last season. So it's an area that they've got to fix. And the reason I think we're kind of worried, will they fix it, is because there's not a defensive coordinator. A year ago, there was Dean Pease. We're going to have to see this collaborative effort we keep being told about. We're going to have to see it work. But that coaching staff, those players in that secondary particularly, there should be some confidence that they can get it fixed.
I definitely like that. And hey, we're gonna go Big Hawk. Jacque, what y'all got?
Well,
go ahead,
Jacque. Do you think?
No, go ahead. Take away, Hawk.
So I totally agree. And for those that don't know, the Tennessee Titans is the worst team in the NFL on third down. We spoke even on our show about the defensive coordinator situation that's not there for us. So right now they're sort of playing on pilot on defense. It's going to be hard for Mike Vrabel to coach a defense when he's coaching the entire team. He can't put his focus on the defense when the offense is out there, and he's coaching. He's out there as well too with the offensive coordinator, of course. But we need somebody that's going to be a designated coach for the defense. When you look at our team, we have 6 of our starting 11 defensive players that are first-round picks. You look at Kenny Vaccaro, Adoree Jackson, Big Jeff, Jadeveon Clowney, Rashaan Evans, and who am I missing? Vic Beasley. So you look at that, we're the most underwhelming group probably in the NFL. And what's so weird is that we lead the league in turnovers. So explain that, right? So my hope is that we will get a defensive coordinator, someone that's going to come here and be designated to do that. I even would look for us to make a trade, to get maybe a prime corner here. I know Stephon Gilmore's name has been thrown out there, Desmond King from the Chargers. But we do need some change if we want to make the Super Bowl. And I've mentioned we have a Super Bowl offense, but we have a 5-10 record, 5-11 record of a defense right now, and we got to make this thing work. So that's my thought on it, man.
I agree. I agree with Teresa Hall. Literally, it's the lack of the defensive coordinator and the lack of preseason as well, and then the games where we did miss with COVID. It really hurt us, and it's like Teresa said, let's have a Band-Aid on, and you take that Band-Aid off, and the infection is affecting your leg even more. So the holes and the things that we're seeing now with what's going on, and it really got exposed, and it's really getting exposed when you lose. When you win it, everything is you're on a high. But the game with Cincinnati should be a good, decent bounce back game. But I'm not sleeping on Cincinnati, but it should allow us to correct some of those things in the secondary and on defense, hopefully. But we'll see. We'll see definitely Sunday. But, I mean, the lack of a defensive coordinators was really, really hurting us.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, everybody. And we're going to definitely be talking about some trade targets coming up in just a bit. We're going to let Jake come on in next. And, Jake, give your thoughts, too.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I loved the insight from Miss Teresa down there saying how she had to scrap the comeback story, because I think each and every one of us kind of felt it in our hearts that, on that last drive, Tannehill was going to go down and do it again for us and get it done, at least, take it to overtime. So that was definitely a heartbreaker. But, at the end of the day, we lost to a really good Pittsburgh Steelers team just by 3 points. I thought the team showed great resolve in the second half. Coming back down 20, I told my co-host Justin I was ready to record, halfway through that third quarter because, the story is going to be the same. But a good golden rule in the NFL, my dad always told me the NFL stands for not for long. So hopefully the get right game against Cincinnati, I mean, like Jacque said, we shouldn't sleep on Cincinnati, but hopefully this kind of window here with Cincinnati and Chicago can be kind of a get right period and fix those defensive mistakes that we all harp on.
Yep. Tubell, come on in.
My question is, why do we continue to dress 3 pass rushers? I mean, we're overplaying Clowney. He got hurt last week. We're overplaying Landry.
That's right.
That was the one thing we were supposed to work on all season, was to limit Landry's snaps. And then you got Vic Beasley, who honestly shouldn't probably be playing more than 20 snaps. He's playing more now. It's just a mess. I'm finally ready to admit this. I think I'm good to go. Bring up Wyatt Ray. Let's see what he's got. I'm in now. It's been a long time for me, but I'm ready. I just want to see a healthy. I don't know what's going on with Roberson, but I just want to see a healthy pass rush. Trying to do this with 3 guys is just not realistic. We tried it against Denver, tried it again this week, and we're only setting ourselves up for even more issues down the road if we get one of these guys injured. So that's all I got.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, because that was something that just boggled my mind, like even before the game started. I'm thinking, why in the world are we only keeping 3? Then what's the purpose? What was the purpose of having Derek Roberson make the team and bringing him back if we're only going to play 3? And like you said, Tubell, you said it. We're supposed to be helping to limit Landry snaps so that they're not gassed in the fourth quarter and just dog tired. But instead, you're doing nothing but playing them more snaps. And I'm thinking, what's going on? Which there was a guy out there who could possibly would have helped with that, but we're going to get into that in just a second. Titans Logic, what's going on? Jameson, what's going on? Anthony, I see everybody up in here. I appreciate everybody coming in. Anthony says, used to take about a week to get over a loss. Looks like I'm trying to put in the comment. Yeah, he said, I'm not a super fan anymore, but I still go hard for the team. It took me about 2 hours to get over it. Now, I will say it took me about a couple of days to get over it. Normally it does take me about a whole week to about Friday to get over it, but I kind of got over it pretty quickly because, like all of you said, we lost to a good team. We're still 5-1. This is a whole lot different if we lost, say, to the Jags. If we lost to the Jags, I'm just thinking, okay, the sky's got to be falling. So that's just, thank God it's not that situation. And like I said, we could rebound on that. A little bit of news that's come out this week. We had Will Compton was cut from the team. Now he's back on the practice squad as Darren Bates and David Quisenberry have been called up. And Sonoris Perry now is designated to return. So there's a 3-week window for him to get back active. And I'm thinking, and Ms. Teresa, you could probably shine a light on this a little bit more, that I would hope that this is the week that they activate Adoree Jackson, because if they're not going to go get a corner at some point, which we will talk about, I mean, Adoree Jackson's needed now more than ever. And I mean, that's definitely saying something as far as this defense. So who wants to chime in?
Well, I'll say this. Yes, they do need Adoree Jackson, but they need him back healthy. We saw last December, when he was out, how much they missed him. And then he gets back in January for the playoffs, and you could tell the difference on defense. So, he's in that 3-week window to return. So if he isn't back against Cincinnati, then, you would think that he would be back against Chicago next week. You want him healthy. You want him to be able to be healthy for the stretch run, because as I mentioned, after they play Indianapolis, 5 of the final 7 are on the road. And the teams that are going to be playing Baltimore and Green Bay in that stretch on the road. So you want him healthy, and then we'll see. And as far as Derek Roberson, he was hurt in September, so that he's been working his way back from an injury. And I thought we would see him on Sunday as well, because he hadn't been on the injury report. But I'm curious to see if maybe this is the week that we see him, because when Jadeveon Clowney was on the sideline trying to walk off that knee, they're suddenly down to 2 guys. And that was in the third quarter. So that could have been gotten bad in a heartbeat. So, and one last thought, the defense, as bad as they've looked, let's give them some props. In that third quarter, after they got that short field goal, they shut the Steelers down after that. So, they got 2 picks, and they managed to do something. That's the defense, though, that we need to see them do for a whole game and not just for a couple of quarters.
Absolutely on that. And so, Teresa, I know you got a very busy schedule. There's a quick question for you, and then we'll get to the guys in just a bit. He said, DNS comes in and says, do you think this loss will eventually help the Titans in the long run? Will it help them, will do better for the Titans, or will it make them feel more pressure with the next few games coming up?
I think it takes the pressure off, because, when you've won 5 straight, as I mentioned, things were getting, ignored a little bit, maybe not as honed in on. Now they have to get back to all those details and do the hard work again. And it probably provided a nice little prick to the ego to keep, I don't know about y'all, but when I'm doing good, my head gets big. My husband says I need a garage door to get in the house. Well, they're human too. So, this brings everybody back to earth and gets them focused on the task at hand. And that's never a bad thing, because I'd rather have a loss to, as you mentioned, the last undefeated team in the NFL, as opposed to any other team you might mention, Jets, Jaguars, Cowboys, something like that this year. So it was to a good team, and they lost by 3 points. And they're working on fixing things. So, and it's the NFL. There's been one team that has gone, undefeated in the regular season, and that was my long time ago Miami Dolphins. So it ain't happening these days. Better to happen now and tune up, and for a program whose motto is, we're going to get better as this season goes along.
I like that. And Tubell, you got some thoughts?
No, I'm just honored to be here and share some time with Teresa. So thank you again for joining us, Teresa. That's awesome. Big fan, by the way. But yeah, I give the defense some credit. think it was Hawk mentioned, they're number one in turnover margin, which is just remarkable to think about it. We're like dead last in a lot of stats, but yet our defense, for whatever reason, +9 in the turnover column. And how bad would it be if we did not get turnovers? I think that's ultimately going to be the question. Does that well run dry at some point during the season? Hopefully it won't matter at that point because we will be building back up and our pass rush will be better and our secondary will step up. But I want to know what's going on with Evans. Either is it just me or is Evans taking a step back? Is it because the defensive line has had some issues? Is it because there is no pass rush? He's expected to do more. That's one question I would have for Teresa just in general is what's going on with Evans and does she notice anything different with him this year?
I'll say this. What I've noticed is Jayon Brown's having an incredible year. He's been playing lights out. He's their leading tackler. He had a handful of passes defense. We saw him get a pick and break up the pass in the end zone. He's playing really, really well. And, when they get into passing downs, it's Rashaan Evans who's coming off the field. Jayon with his speed that's keeping him out there. And, I think you hit it on the head that, Rashaan Evans is having to do a little bit more. And it helps when those guys up front are maybe taking care of those linemen so that he can come through and make some of the tackles. And, I still, it almost feels like they're not quite in rhythm yet. That lack of practice time, that if they can just hone that chemistry, communication, that I think that would help Evans and everybody else, especially in that front seven, play better.
I got, let's see. Jacque, what you got? You got anything to add on that?
So Teresa just said she said a valid thing is communication. And on defense, you have to communicate in that secondary. Even with the linebackers, you have to communicate. And when I'm looking now without Dean Pease, you're seeing the communication issues show up, literally. I mean, when we played, I think it was the game before when Butler had that busted coverage on Will Fuller. I mean, that's a communication issue. So I think once they fine-tune those things and hone those in, the defense will be okay. But even with the Adoree Jackson point, him being healthy, I want him to be healthy to the point where we have him in the playoffs at full speed just to go, literally. So if he's not fully there, then yes, I would look at a trade or something just to bring in somebody to kind of fill that void. But right now, we just defense, period, is just the communication thing. I mean, like Hawk said, we have a Super Bowl offense, but we have a mediocre defense, and it's kind of frustrating to the point where once we do get on the same page, the team will be very, very, very dangerous.
Absolutely. Jake, come on in.
Yeah, I'm absolutely. And it kind of begs the question, the communication aspect and things. Does this team miss Logan Ryan more than they, anticipated missing him, or Jarrell Casey missing him a little more so? Those cornerstone leaders on this defense that were here for, a couple of years and the turnaround of this franchise. Do we miss them more than we anticipated? They always have the adage better a year early than a year late. But like Teresa said, I think this team's got time to put it together and get those communication issues together. One of my friends who's a very over-optimistic NFL fan, after he watched the loss with me on Sunday, he said, "Hey, Super Bowls aren't won in October." And I laughed, but it's very true. And it's better to peak a little bit later, especially putting together this defense versus looking great in October and then having the wheels fall off.
Absolutely.
Let's remember a year ago they were 3-4. Ryan Tannehill had just gotten into the lineup and they were 3-4 and they dug their way out of that. They're 5-1 right now. So, they're atop the AFC South.
Yes.
They're considered to be among the top 4 teams in the AFC. So, they've got a much higher threshold that they can continue building on here as we go into November.
Yeah, without a
Absolutely.
doubt. And it's, we talked about it on our show after the game, as downtrodden or as salty you want to be about the loss or the missed kick or all the issues that the Titans still need to fix, this team at the end of the day is still 5-1 and still atop the AFC South, and it's looking pretty good. So definitely for sure.
Definitely. And I got CW. I know you watch it. You brought up something that in Pick My Brain, I want to ask everybody on because it's driven me. It drives me crazy. And it's been doing that for about the last 5 years. He brought up a good point. So CW, you gave me a good question that we're going to do. But first, we're going to go into naming the two-tone blue star of the week. Now, we're going to quickly go around the room with everybody. Who do you think was the best player out of this game? And honestly enough, I only have two options. One on offense, one on defense. It's got to be one of them for me. But I'm going to let you guys go first. And quickly, we'll start with Titan up low. Who do you think is your two-tone blue star of the week? Who had the best game?
You know what? I'm going to go with I want to go AJ Brown, of course, on offense, but defense being so to get us back in the game. You know, if it wasn't for the defense, obviously in the first half, I know the offense wasn't clicking either, but Simmons kind of turned the game around. So I'm going to go with Simmons. Simmons left the door open for us to make a comeback. So give me Big Jeff. I'll take him, and hopefully he can continue to do what he's been doing inside, especially with the batted balls.
All right. Jacque?
So I'm about to hit you guys with a left fielder. For me, I'm going defense as well, but I'm going Amani Hooker. So for me, Amani Hooker made 3 key plays. The one play he came off where he jumped up and batted the ball down, which almost could have been an interception. The other key play was on special teams. And we seen it was almost taken to the house, but Amani Hooker made a key tackle at the right time. And then the combination at the end of the game, when Big Ben threw that ball, Jayon batted it up, Amani Hooker intercepted it. So for me, Amani Hooker was all over the field the whole game, and something we don't give credit to with Amani Hooker. Amani Hooker has 2 interceptions, guys, and then we know they played the 3 safety set. So that's something that I see Amani Hooker as a Bayer and a Vaccaro clone, and he's mixed. He's like a clone with them. He's just mixed together, and I like how he plays. So for me, it's Amani Hooker.
I gotta agree. That's something that I did not think about that. And Hooker did have a very good game because, you know, he had that one pick where Jayon Brown got it and he stayed inbounds and caught it. And he almost had another one. Off on the, I want to say, the left sideline. He nearly had a second one. So yeah, Amani Hooker definitely did some good things. Jake, let me get you on that.
Yeah, I love the Hooker call there. That was a good one, Jacque. I was kind of thinking towards that, but I might go with Mark and Titan Upload here and say I think Jeff Simmons continues to play really well. We always see his big bear paw up there, swatting balls and knocking them down, even, going back to the Houston game. But I guess on offense, it feels so great as a Titans fan to finally have a big play wide receiver that, shows up game after game. And obviously AJ Brown is who I'm talking about. He provided the spark that started that 20-point comeback. And wow, I think he was the fastest ball carrier of the week. So I think that alone will give him my blue star of the week.
All right. Well, Miss Teresa, we're going to say the best for last.
I'm going to agree on AJ Brown because, this franchise has been here since '97, and he's the big play wide receiver that they have not had until now with his arrival. And you talk about that spark, they were dead. And he takes that ball and just runs through and away from the Steelers and gives them the spark that they needed on offense. But I'm going to go with Jayon Brown on defense because while Simmons is batting balls around, we saw a lot of balls in the air and on the ground Sunday, but you got to get them. And Jayon got the one interception that set up a field goal, and then he's the one who broke up the pass that Hooker intercepted in the end zone. So, and Ben Roethlisberger said that anytime he sees Juju Smith-Schuster on a linebacker in the end zone, he's going to take that play and try to make it, and Brown's the one who popped that ball up into the air. So, his back turned, he gets the ball up so that it can be picked and give them a chance. So those are my 2 picks.
Absolutely. I definitely like everybody's picks. Some of you basically took some of my picks away. I was thinking either Jayon or AJ Brown on that. I see we got Hawk back in. I know, Hawk, you got a big practice coming up in just a bit. So who do you think might have been your player of the game, the two-tone blue star of the week?
No question about it, man. Jayon Brown, he had a hell of a game. You get a guy that got 9 tackles. He had an interception as well. Jayon, in my opinion, has been struggling this season, but I think this particular game is a big step up for him. So very proud of how hard Jayon Brown played. Definitely a playmaker on defense. On the defense, is not making a lot of plays. He's making them. And then on offense, Arthur Juan Brown, of course. A.J. Brown with a heck of a game. A guy that can make a slant look like a go route, right? He's the only player I know in the league that can turn a 5-yard slant to a 75-yard game. So A.J. Brown had a heck of a game. If he continues to play like that with Derrick Henry playing as well as he is and same for Tannehill, I don't know who's going to stop his own offense. So Arthur Juan Brown, A.J. His nickname, Arthur Juan, is his government name, and Jayon Brown.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of people definitely agree with that. Durker time talking about Jayon Brown. We had a lot of people talking Jayon Brown. We got Titans Mafia saying AJ and Hooker. Terrence Young coming saying Ty Sambrailo stepped up. And I will give Sambrailo and Kevin and Kelly some credit, even though they did only give up. There were only 2 sacks in the game given up. I will say they did a pretty good job, even though TJ Watt had that good swim move, which I think he stole it from me personally, because that was my move. That would always be my move when I play football, is going with a swim move to kind of defeat the offensive lineman on the other side. Got Jameson saying Big Jeff. Let's see. Titan Tiger says, sorry, I'm a sore loser. Greetings to everybody. Definitely. So I gotta go with Arthur Juan Brown myself. I mean, I like Jayon, but I gotta go with AJ Brown because, like some of you said, it is so good to finally have a number 1 dog receiver, and he is, as Derek Mason would say, you got to have some dog in you, and he absolutely does. And I will definitely give honorable mention to Big Jeff, because Big Jeff's been making plays all year. I mean, and it's great to see. I hate Casey's not there beside him this year, but he's balling out, and it's absolutely beautiful. But when we have a star of the week, we also have a dunce of the day. And we have somebody, let me see, make sure everybody's mics are good. But we always have a dunce of the day, somebody who just didn't have it and just could not get the job done. So I know there are definitely a few nominees for that. So we're going to start with Miss Teresa. Who was the player that didn't play as well in this game?
I've got to go with Steven Gostkowski. It's crazy that he is perfect 5 of 5 from 50 and farther. And yet when it's 40 to 49, he is 1 of 5. And that 45-yarder, it started off and then it just tailed off to the right. Now the intentional grounding penalty definitely pushed him back, but it's like, that's one you've got to have. And, they keep talking about how confident they are. And then guess what? They're not going to be going out and getting other kickers. Have you seen all the kickers cycling through? The Jaguars have gone through like 5 or 6 already this season. So the kicker store is empty at this point. So they've just got to get that worked out.
Absolutely. And I see we got one more addition in coming fresh off of Titans Blitz. We got Mr. Titan in the building. You did not miss very much.
What's up, Chris? What's up, everybody? What's up, Upload? What's up, Titans Tube? Hi, Teresa. What's up, Weekly? Again, Chris, I'm proud of you. Congratulations. 4 years, man. You're doing your thing. Love the show. Keep doing what you're doing, brother, right?
Hey, I appreciate that. So we were talking about, we had some Two-Tone Blue Star of the weeks. You can quickly give yours, and who do you feel was the player that didn't play as well on Sunday?
I'm gonna go with Teresa. Unfortunately, it kind of comes down to the kicker, man. The kicker. I mean, it didn't work out for us, but let's try to move on for it, man. Let's try to move on for it.
You sounded. I mean, oh my goodness. Mr. Ty, you sounded so depressed when you said that.
I'm ready. I'm ready over that game. We just gotta stay focused on the Bengals, and that was last week. We ready for this week.
We're on to Cincinnati, as they say.
Well, Jake, before we get on to Cincinnati, who you got?
My dunce of the day, I don't want to keep the Steven Gostkowski going. I like what Teresa said in the kicker store is empty. At what point Do you go searching? Is there any better option out there? I know they have the McCann fellow on the practice squad. They keep protecting him week after week to see what he's got. So we'll just see kind of how it goes. I think Vrabel's got a lot of confidence in him, and that confidence has paid off. We saw, in the stretch of games where he did go 9 for 9. So it's such a conundrum whether you keep rolling with this guy. Yeah, he ended up losing us the game, but he won us the game, against Denver and Jacksonville, and Denver is a different story, but obviously Denver, Jacksonville, and obviously Minnesota. My dunce of the day might have to go to Dennis Kelly, just because it seemed like he was getting abused. I thought it was going to be a lot worse with Taylor Lewan out, especially against that Pittsburgh front seven. I thought Tannehill might have been running for his life in this game, but they did perform pretty well. But I might give it to Dennis Kelly just to give Stephen Gostkowski a little bit of a break.
All right, tight up low.
Muted. Okay, I'm back.
There we go. There we go.
I'm gonna throw one out there that could have ended bad, so he deserves it. And I know it was his first game back this year, but if this turns out sour as it should have or could have, we'll go with Dane Cruikshank. So we get an interception to basically end the half. He just throws the ball backward like it's the end of the game scenario. If Pittsburgh recovers that, guys, they're up 31-7 going into halftime. You can't do that in that position in that state of the game. And it was one of those things in the first half where I really felt like the Titans were just kind of caught off guard in a lot of situations. Some people making some uncharacteristic decisions, but that is one you just can't do inside your 10-yard line, just throwing it back, chucking it back, I know he's trying to make a play, but man, that could have ended really, really bad.
Absolutely. Jacque, what you got?
So first I want to say we got to stop putting Gostkowski in these situations. Literally, we have to put the game away where he doesn't have to make a move. So that's one thing. It is easy to go with Steven, but I'm going to throw another curveball here. Ty Smith. I mean, literally, Ty Smith. They had Ty Smith on Deontay Johnson. I mean, Deontay Johnson had 9 receptions for 80 yards, guys, and 2 touchdowns. And I don't know why they didn't make that personnel change when they needed to, but I mean, Ty Smith was in it, literally playing chase the whole game until he was switched out with Chris Jackson. So for me, it's Ty Smith. I mean, in these situations, man, we need to make personnel changes to fit with what personnel they have out there, what packages they have out there. And he was all over the place. So for me, Ty Smith.
All right. Well, I'm going to say, first I'm going to give my honorable mention, and then I got a curveball too as well on that. First off, I would say my honorable mention, and we've been talking about Gostkowski, but I'm going to say the entire special teams unit as a whole just looked horrible. The entire unit, not just Gostkowski, but Bo Brinkley has been struggling these last few weeks coming back from COVID with some of his snaps. The snap to Brett Kern, where Brett Kern had to basically throw it up, even though Kern probably had about another second or two, he could have gotten that kick away there in the punt, which really could have turned bad. Giving up a big punt return that gave the Steelers, I think, another 3 points or something like that. I'm not sure exactly what happened there, but I'm going to throw a major dunce on you on this. I know a few people have said Ty Smith, a few people have said Clowney, on that, but I have 2. One, of course, is Vic Beasley. Vic Beasley has done absolutely nothing this year. With Clowney, and this is just me, with Clowney, you can at least tell he's trying. Clowney is at least trying to do something. Vic Beasley has done nothing. I honestly, if I did not know who the Tennessee Titans were, I would not even know that Vic Beasley was on the field. Honestly, to tell the truth, I can't tell when Vic Beasley's on the field. I can tell when Clowney's there. I can tell when Landry's there. Vic Beasley is very much invisible, very much so. But the dunce of the day I gotta go to is Ryan Tannehill himself. Before everybody in the comment section start bashing me, saying I'm speaking blasphemy, there's one particular play that did it all. That last drive, I'm sitting here, I'm thinking, we're finna win this game. Tannehill is finna drive us. We are about to score. We are about to win this game. There is no way we're about to lose. Tannehill's finna take us to the promised land. And you get the intentional grounding call. And we all know this. With intentional grounding, you not only lose the down, and it was on first down. I understand what he was trying to do because Bud Dupree was barreling down on him. But no one was in the vicinity because not only that goes to second down, you lose 10 yards, so now it's 2nd and 20, and there was a 10-second runoff. So it's a triple whammy in that situation that took us out of field goal range. We had to fight to get back in field goal range where Gostowski missed the kick. If that was just an incomplete pass, we're 2nd and 10, and you have that extra 10 seconds. You're a little bit closer. I think they were around maybe about inside the 35-yard line. And we could have gotten a lot closer, or we could have ran something different and could have scored off of that. But that one particular play took us out of field goal range and consequently cost us the game. So I got, as much as I love Ryan Tannehill and I love him to death, but I've got to put that on him.
I got a question for you.
Talk to me.
Can I ask? Am I allowed to ask a question? Okay.
Please.
So here's my question, because I've heard this argument, Jared and the GM, I've heard it everywhere. He was going to get sacked, right? I mean, if he doesn't throw the ball away, he's going to get sacked, correct?
Yes.
So it would have been 2nd and 15, roughly?
And the clock would have been running.
And the clock would have been running. Everybody would have been lost. They've been to run up to the thing. You had one timeout. Who knows?
Lost it down anyway.
Lost it down anyway. I get it. It is a big deal. But I think people are way overblowing that. I mean, I don't think that's what lost the game for us. We were moving the ball. But that was one of those things that, who knows? Dupree hits him just right. The ball could come out. So I would rather reconvene, get everybody on the same page. They did get a little bit of time where they didn't have to rush the play. Then the 10-second runoff came on. So I agree with you, Truth. But I also think there's the other side of it. That thing could have ended a little bit differently as well.
Well, remember the drive, that final drive too, we had two. They said it wasn't a screen pass to Derrick Henry, which didn't go anywhere. We lost yards on that. I don't know why they kept on doing that. That happened twice in that same drive. And I didn't understand why they were doing that. It wasn't working. We were pushing the ball down the field, but for some reason we kept on doing that. I don't know. It wasn't a good play.
Absolutely. And I want to thank, Miss Teresa for coming on with us. She had to hop off. She's got to finish up a big story that she's writing on. So, Miss Teresa, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for coming on and everything. It was an honor and a privilege to have you. And I thank you guys for still being with us too. But gonna read a few comments to everybody out there watching. I apologize if I hadn't gotten to all of your comments. We're just having good conversation. Guardian down, what's going on? Facebook says to throw to 84 as well before the field goal, which I don't feel bad taking a shot there in that situation. I mean, it just got out of reach on there as well for Corey Davis, which could have thrown a pass interference flag, but they kept the flag in their back pocket. So definitely got Paris Sharkey coming on. Paris Sharkey, I think he's a fan of yours, Mr. Titan. Definitely. He mentioned you. All right. We got Michael Vrabel on here. You haven't missed much. We're going to get ready to talk about the Bengals in a minute. But I definitely agree with that because, Tannehill did a lot of good things in that game as far as helping us bring back. And a lot of people, a lot of Steeler fans have been coming at us talking about, well, we shut down Derrick Henry. Technically, you did. But if I remember correctly, and anybody can chime in, they average only giving up about 66 some odd yards a game. Derrick Henry had 75, and I think we all felt he was starting to get warmed up. Like we saw 100 yards in his sights. So anybody want to disagree with me on that?
No, that's facts. I mean, literally, I've seen headlines like that from Steelers fans that they shut down Derrick Henry. We know that's a mediocre day for Derrick Henry. I mean, 75 yards for any NFL running back is a good day, literally. I mean, 75 yards is not easy, nothing to come with. So with him just getting 75 yards, you don't know. He might have busted a 90-yarder. I felt he was going to bust something. Literally a 90-yard, a 70-yard. I just felt it. You can feel it. But time wasn't on our side. So literally, I'm like, Steelers fans, I mean, you kind of calm that down. You didn't really stop him. He did have some good runs, so people just come back down to reality. And then everybody feels like they have to stop Derrick Henry. We have to stop Derrick Henry. No, I mean, 75 yards is still a good day. He's still the league's leading rusher, so you can't take that away from him. So
yeah. So,
no, for sure. He had
no
those gashing runs. Yeah, facts, no paper. I remember. But yeah, he did have those great, gashing runs from time to time here and there. But obviously you're playing from behind. You have the 2-play drive with the Arthur Brown or AJ Brown touchdown, and he didn't get his normal, 25, 30 carry workload. That 75 yards is only on 20 carries. And, it begs to differ if they had more time, if the defense, for God's sake, could get a stop on third down, one of the 4 times that they had an opportunity to before that final drive. Maybe they have more time. Maybe Derrick Henry does get a couple more totes, and maybe he does bust the big one at the end of the game there. But yeah, and it comes in the territory of having a big star like Derrick Henry. Obviously, it's going to be a big target on this team's back every week. It's how can you stop Derrick Henry? And when he does have a pedestrian day, of course, those headlines are going to kind of come flooding in,
Yeah, absolutely. And what I want to do, and Titan Upload, feel free to come on in here on this. Some people have been talking about the whole Henry Robert Spillane, who was a former Titan collision. And we saw, yes, Spillane put a good hit on Derrick Henry, but it looked like Spillane got the worst of it.
At a cost.
I mean, what do they call him? They call Derrick Henry a big business decision. So Robert Spillane might have made a bad business decision. So, Titan Blow, what you got?
Well, I mean, Ryan Clark, did that come out of left field at all? Did you guys see that coming? I mean, that was like a national story. I don't know what his heat is with the Derrick Henry. I personally think it's, House Hunters is fake. I know it pains me to say that. I love the show. And I know you're not being sponsored by them, Truth, right now, but you should be. But my point is, like, I think a lot of people think that they can just slow him down. But here's the thing. When's the last time you can think of a running back getting a spy, right? So supposedly Bud Dupree was spying Derrick Henry where he was going. And usually you do that for a mobile quarterback. They were doing it against Derrick Henry. And it actually was pretty effective for the most part. Yeah. So Arthur Smith, I'm sure when the rematch happens sometime in the playoffs, and who knows, maybe some other teams try to do that. I think Arthur Smith will definitely be ready. But yeah, Spillane. All these former Titans always find a way to come back and get in our grill and find a way to, Jack Doyle is the one that comes to mind the most. Yeah. But he definitely took the brunt of that one.
Absolutely. Absolutely on that. Mr. Titan, what you got?
What I got with I saw it the minute it happened. I'm like, oh, that hurt him. That hurt him. Like he had a good tackle. Don't get me wrong, but you can tell. Then you saw him going back and he was holding his shoulder. I was like, oh yeah. Next time, don't do that.
Yeah, I agree with that. And ice cold since birth, which I'm thinking you're a member of Alpha Phi Alpha, if I'm not mistaken, because you said ice cold. So maybe not. But he said Henry couldn't do anything due to having the ball only 10 minutes in the first half, which I honestly agree with that. I think the offense really couldn't get going because they didn't have the ball a lot in the first half. So they really could not do much of anything to really get going and to really gel.
Well, TJ Watt was everywhere. He was making Dennis Kelly look like, and some plays looks like a fool, man. He had him. There was one play where I saw him, was like, ooh, that looked nasty. I mean, he had Dennis Kelly. Dennis Kelly could not guard him whatsoever. And there was some times where TJ Watt just had that lane and just would blow up like Henry in the backfield. So,
but that's originally why Isaiah Wilson was brought in, just in this situation right here. Just for this situation. Listen, literally, I mean, you bump you out the right tackle, bump Kelly to the left, and then you use Sambrello if you need to. So, I mean, it's just the Isaiah Wilson effect is just it's a trickle down effect where it sucks because, like you said, Kelly was getting. I mean, he was picked. Oh my God! I mean, literally, it was on skates the whole game. Literally,
yeah, he was.
Yo, he was. He absolutely was. So let's go ahead. Since we've been asking some questions, we should go into pick my brain for a bit. And so we're gonna have some questions put out and everything. Like, for example, we had one question, and we'll be talking about trades. Of course, we hear that Carlos Dunlap got traded to the Seahawks today. So, question out there is, should we have went for him?
Yeah. I go ahead, Mark.
I'll just say this. I don't know because I've been researching this all day, and the one thing that I was really looking forward to was making a case to bring him in. But before I could ever do that, he was already traded to Seattle. But what I would say is $13.5 million against the cap in 2021. And I'm not sure how much that had to play into this. I know the dead cap was 2 point something, but you got to figure J-Rob did call. I know some people have called me out on it and said that he doesn't fit our scheme. But at this point, guys, who does fit our scheme in the pass rush? Because it can't be any worse than what we've seen right now.
That is true.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And it's you'd hope J-Rob is making phone calls right now, be it to the, the Gilmore, camp or even on a case like this one, that, it can't get any worse on our back end secondary wise. I don't think, at least at the corner position right this moment. Getting a Dory back will change all that, I'm sure, but it's not going to fix the defense as a whole. And also, our pass rush is basically non-existent. So, bringing in somebody like him would be only, I think, I don't know. I trust John Robinson to look out for the future of this team and the long-term kind of game. It seems like he is managing monies in a certain way. I would like to see him go after Gilmore, but this specific one with that big $13 million cap hit, especially next season, should kind of shy away from it.
Yeah, something I didn't think about. I think Jacque, you was about to say something too.
Yeah, I mean, even with the price tag, how's his production been? Even with Cincinnati, I know he's been upset with Cincinnati, trying to get that big trade to happen, which it just happened. But like Mark alluded to, with a $13 million, it can be a big hit. Even with it goes back to the scheme. I understand people. He doesn't fit our scheme, but at this point, we need help. We need all the help we can get on the defensive line. Literally, I mean, he can relieve pressure from Clowney or Beasley or even Landry. I mean, literally, it can be interchangeable where they don't have to play 20, 40 snaps a game. So definitely, it would have been nice. But we know that John is on the phone. He's always fielding and talking to other teams and trades. That's what he does. I mean, he's going to kick the tires on somebody, and it could be Gilmore. He's a former Patriot. We know how we feel about former Patriots. That's what we do. So, I mean, it's just the price tag and what we want to give up for it. So, I'm all in on Gilmore. Bring him in. I mean, that'll upgrade our secondary to the point where it's a loaded room, but at the same time, you can kind of bounce somebody out, Joseph or Butler, because Butler's really struggling, really struggling. So,
right. It's time. What you got?
Well, on my post-game show, I had Gerald McGrath, and he's a former linebacker, so I wanted to kind of get his take on, hey, what do we do? Do we continue with the defense woes? I mean, we can tell the defense has a problem. And he said, no. He said, leave everything how it is. He said, this team's been playing how many games nonstop? The defense is obviously tired. He also said, when I asked, he goes, COVID had a lot to do with it. Remember, this team didn't practice for how many weeks? 2 weeks? He's like, yes, the offense obviously gels because a lot of people aren't new. Defense, you got a lot of rookies coming in. We lost a lot of veterans, okay, guys? We lost Woodyard. We lost Logan Ryan, which seems like like one of the biggest pieces. Yeah, we have a young core group, but we lost our big time leaders. All right. We lost Jarrell Casey, another one. Yeah, we brought in a couple pass rushers. I mean, it doesn't look like they're doing much. Again, he said not to go crazy. I said, what about Gilmore? He said, hell no. He said, keep the secondary. It's a little bit harder to bring in someone random and new just to learn the system compared to someone on the defensive line. He kept on saying that eventually they'll click and they just need to continue practicing consistently. That's what he kept on saying. Consistent practicing on defense, getting reps for the new people, for the rookies to get the reps. Remember, they missed the mini camps. So Christian Fulton's, I mean, he's out with a knee, but that's one of the things. Yeah, we're getting kind of burned. Butler's not playing great, but he said he wouldn't change a thing and just let this thing ride. So,
hey, Mr. Titan, great point. Because as a former DB, literally, it's communication. If I've known you for 4 years, I know your tendencies. I literally, I can look at you and say, hey,
that's it. You know,
literally a head nod. Okay. But when you bring in Joseph and when you got Christian, and literally, I don't know your tendencies. Yes, I can call black, which is cover 2, or call red, cover 3. But what is your tendency? So that's a great point. Real good point.
So
I'll say this.
That's what he put.
I'll say this. As much as I hear what Jerry McGrath is saying, and this brings into a point that CW brought up, and this is something that irritates me. First off, I think the offense, as we talked about with the COVID situation, not having a mini camp and training camp and spring practice, the offense did not really change at all. The offense, everybody came back. On the other side, like Al said, new pieces were on defense. Clowney, Beasley, you're bringing in Jonathan Joseph. Now, of course, my God, we missing the heck out of Dean Pease and Kerry Coombs right now. Yep. Those are probably two of the biggest losses that this defense has suffered. The defense doesn't have continuity. Now, that is very, very true. That continuity without coaching has been a big issue. But one thing that CW brought up earlier on, I want to get y'all take on this because it's driven me nuts. Why do you think in the world, and I think I have an idea why is it that, and this has happened even before Dean Pease and even before Dick LeBeau, it seems like any of our corners decide they want to play 5 to 7 or 7 to 10 yards off the ball all
10.
the time. It drives me insane. I'm thinking to myself, if you just play 3 to 5 yards off, nose to inside eye, that was what I remember listening to when I played in high school. You play nose to inside eye. You could play about 3 to 5 yards off the field. Why I say that? Because you could, first of all, you could get your hands on them because you get that 5-yard cushion. You can put your hands on them. Maybe you can disrupt the route, kind of push them into that, push them and you don't give up the slant easily or the drag route easily. And if you force them outside, they may beat you on a move. You may be able to recover and get that closing speed. But if you're playing 7 to 10 yards off the ball all the time, which I know why they're doing that. I'm going to get your thoughts on this, guys. But you play 7 to 10 yards, they can just throw dink and dunk, those slants and digs all day long. You're easily giving up yards. Instead of it being 3rd and 12, it's going to be 3rd and 6 or 3rd and 4. Or 3rd and 2 every time you do that. So I think I know why they're doing that, but Tighten Up Low, I want to get your thoughts on what CW and I was just talking about.
Well, I think because you can't play man, right? So your pass rush is non-existent. Some people will say, well, it's because the corners are so bad, but come on, like the pass rush is not getting there at all. We're like dead last almost in pass rush. So here's the thing too. So, you're playing zone. They did a really good job against Buffalo. I think that's kind of the idea. Keep everything in front. But you got to know where the chain is, right? And it seemed like against Pittsburgh and let's say 61% of the conversions on 3rd down, they have no idea where that line is. And as you guys say, they're always a couple yards. Here's the one thing I'm interested in. I seen it once last week. Dean Pease sent people from all over the yard, man. Logan Ryan would come off the edge, and then you'd have Butler off the other one. The guys would stall and then blitz the quarterback. I don't see a lot of that right now. Maybe it's just because the quarterbacks we faced are getting the ball out so quick, but it did seem to rattle Ben on that one big third down where I forget who he sent. It's kind of more the top end of the field to the right side. He kind of sent somebody in there, and Big Ben.
I think it was Hooker. I think
it might have been Hooker. Yeah, tipped it or something like that. So I want to see more of that from the Titans, especially on a 3rd and long, instead of just going back like CW said and just giving you stuff wide open in the middle.
Yeah, that would drive me mad. That drive me mad. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Sure. No worries. I like Mr. Titan Uploaded said. I think Big Ben had the statistic of he had spent the least amount of time on average with the ball in the backfield. He was getting rid of it quickly. Our pass rusher didn't even have a chance to get there, frankly. And I do like the idea of, sending people from all over the yard. That's something I very much miss from Dean Pease. I'm really glad you said that. But definitely, this might have to be my closing thought here. Chris, thanks so much for having me on, and congrats again on 4 years. Thanks for having me, fellas. It was a great conversation. I just want to end with I don't take the Bengals lightly. I know we're not to the Bengals talk quite yet, but they've been in every game that they've played in so far, other than against Baltimore. So it is a get-right game. They are very hampered roster-wise, but keep an eye on those Bengals and tighten up. Thanks so much for having me, fellas. Really appreciate it. And have a great rest of the show.
You too, man.
Thanks a lot, Jake. Thanks a lot, Jake. And that will be Jake from Titans Upload joining us. And definitely appreciate him being on the show with us. So, but yeah, and Titans Logic has said it. Hit them like buttons, y'all. Hit those like buttons. We got a lot of people in here. But I think CW and I was saying it. And what I think it is simple. We don't have the top end speed corners. Adoree can keep up. We know if Adoree gets beat on that first move, he's got the closing speed that he can catch that receiver. If Jonathan Joseph plays up, and I think Malcolm Butler might be a step behind, but I think he could kind of catch up. But Deontay Johnson, both times he scored, I want to say was on Jonathan Joseph. You make a move on Joseph, it's over. Or Ty Smith, it's over. They're not going to be able to catch up. So I think with Adoree coming back, I think you bring some speed. I hate Christian Fulton is out going forward, but hopefully in a couple of weeks he'll be back. But, I agree. I think it's the fact we just don't have the speed on the outside. And like you said, Titan Blow, we can't play man because we don't have that speed, those guys that can keep up with those receivers on the outside, in my honest opinion. So, hey, like Jacque, I never played corner. I was a D-line. I was a defensive end. So my job was to hit the quarterback. That was it.
So great point when you say speed. Literally, it's as a corner, you have to trust yourself. Literally, you have to trust yourself. You're like, can I do this? Do I have enough speed to go up against this man in front of me? The thing I like what Dean Pease was able to do, he was able to put you in the best position to be the best player you can, right? We know Logan Ryan is one of the best zone corners I've seen play the game, literally. His zone skills is amazing. But if you notice last year, you would see Butler getting that press a lot more than what he is doing this year. Literally, he's getting his hands in receiver spaces and everything. People, you have that 5 yards, literally a little small margin to get in there and disrupt that route. You can do anything as long as you don't hold them on no hands to the face. I literally can shake you, throw you off your route, do enough to where if I want to let you go around that 5, we're good. If I'm in your hip, I'm right behind you. I know, hey, I'm there. So even with being through 2, I think it was Deontay Johnson. And I forgot who was guarding him, but he was in his hip pocket, literally. It was a good play. Ty Smith was literally right there, but it was just a good throw. And then in his corners, that happens. You're going to get beat. You're going to have where you're in position. My thing is, as long as you're in position, I'm okay with it. It sounds weird, but I'm okay with if a spectacular catch happens. But if you're out of position, if he's 10 yards away, hey, we got to reevaluate something, literally. So it goes back to Chris, what you said, speed. Literally, that's they don't trust their speed, literally. So
one of the things that drives me nuts is that Malcolm Butler doesn't turn his head. He always, oh my Lord.
That's
Like,
old too.
I'm like, how
That's
many times
old.
are you gonna do that? I'm like, turn your head, please. Like, there's so many times he could have intercepted and he just doesn't turn his head. I'm like, oh, there it is again.
Jason McCourty would do that all the time. I mean, Jason McCourty
He
would
ain't
do
on the
that.
team. No, I'm kidding.
It happens all the time. I'm just saying from the past.
How
From the
much do
past.
we miss Gary Combs? I mean, literally. I mean, he was so underrated as a cornerbacks coach. I mean, the energy that he brought, and we miss Logan Ryan. My man don't catch no balls. I mean, literally, we're catching everything. The stat is crazy, man. We're number one in turnovers.
Yeah, and that's something that I forgot who made the question. Just basically saying, did we make a mistake not re-signing Logan Ryan? Do we miss him right now?
Yep, we do.
Definitely.
We do.
It's unanimous.
The leadership.
It's unanimous.
I miss his leadership.
Woodyard and Logan Ryan, man. Those guys were the heart right there, man. They were dead center. And what's Woodyard doing right now? He ain't on the team. I'm about to get him on Twitter. Hold on.
You know what?
You got Will Compton though. He's on the team.
Yeah.
But you know what? Tighten up, Lo. Don't even bring him up. I'm gonna get crucified. I'm just saying.
I
Now,
would like to see David Long in that position.
and that somebody else just mentioned that too in the comments section as well. Was talking about how come David Long is not getting more PT. I'm thinking, you brought him in to back up J.R. Brown, so if he goes down, Long can cover too. So I mean, that's kind of why you have David Long there. And to speak to you on that, Mr. Titan, I'm thinking like this. They really should bring Wesley Woodyard in as like a coaching intern. Bring him in as a coaching intern so he can learn to coach linebackers, because I would love to see him coaching the linebackers.
Well, let's listen. What about this? What about Kamale Correa? Do we miss him?
Yes.
That's another thing. We do.
When we played him for like 5 snaps.
Yeah.
Let's trade for him.
Yeah.
Come on. 6th round pick.
Now,
there's
before we get on
missing pieces, man. A lot of missing pieces on the defense again. We'll see what happens. I don't even know what to say anymore. We'll see what happens.
I will get one last question. It's from Vibe Runner. He basically said, how come we don't have a hunter's mentality? Why do we start off so slow in games?
You mean the defense?
I would say as a whole.
Hey, go ahead, Mr. Titan.
Man, I you know what? I thought realistically, we were gonna come out as the fire team just because the Steelers put so much effort into the Browns game. Man, they were hyped up, and I'm like, oh, this is kind of perfect because our momentum and everything. I think we're gonna be that team that's hungry and stuff. And we came out the first half flat. We looked like the opposite team. I mean, it was.
I think you said something.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, tighten up, bro. Yeah. I think you had something in mind.
So, okay, we'll exclude Denver, but Jacksonville, we were up 14-0. Then we go to Minnesota. We should have been up like 21-0. If you recall, we had to settle for all those field goals. Yep. Then we played the Bills, and we dominated the Bills really from the get-go. I mean, we jumped all over them with that turnover. Then we played Houston. We're up, I believe, 14-0. So this team this year, surprisingly, has started off pretty well, but then eventually the lead kind of dwindles. And here's one thing that no one really talks about, and I'm sorry for saying it, but yeah, we're 5-1, and Ken Moore will bring up the fact that good teams win close games, and I totally agree with that. But I'm telling you, we could have lost Denver. We could have lost Jacksonville. We almost gave that one up. I don't know how we beat Minnesota, to be honest with you. I mean, we're down like 26-14, right? It took our kicker to make 6 kicks or 5 kicks, and like 3 or 4 of them were 50 yards. And the Texans game, did you guys think we were going to win that one? Because the Texans were up 7, could have went up 9 there with the 2-point conversion. So I get it. We're 5-1, and I'm very thankful for that. But at the end of the day, man, I guess your record says what you are. But I mean, this thing could be 3-3, 2-4. Who knows? It's an invalid point, but whatever.
I mean, look at the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears, their record when they were gonna play, they were 5-1 or something. Like their record is not who they are.
Yep.
Yeah.
100%.
Worst 5-2 team I've ever seen.
Upload. You're muted, by the way. Upload. You're muted. Upload.
Yeah,
Upload.
that's okay.
There you go.
You're muted again. You muted yourself again.
But
No, I do. I don't want any background noise.
Oh, okay, my bad.
I understand, but I agree. The Bears being like the worst 5-2 team I've ever seen in my life, and it's crazy. But with that, and I mean, yes, we have won a lot of close games, and I think winning those close games are going to help us in the playoffs when we get there. So, we definitely got to make sure, defensively, we got to make sure we stay hydrated and energy because we are getting tired. But let's talk a few trades for just a minute because we know the trade deadline is next week, next Tuesday to be exact. Obviously, we talked about Dunlap going to the Seahawks a little bit. Everson Griffin got traded to the Lions for, I believe, a conditional 6th-round pick. But I got a few possible trade targets, and if anybody's got any more ideas, feel free to come on in with it. But as far as trade ideas, and I'm going to start with Titan Upload first, who do you think is out there that John Robinson needs to be on the phone with making a deal with?
Well, I think defensive line really sets the tone, and I know we're really with the secondary. So I totally, but here's the point I would make is you can't go wrong with anybody on defense at this point, other than maybe like linebacker. You know what I mean? Inside linebacker, whatever. I think we're set with Evans. I know he's hasn't been as effective as he once was, but he'll get it back. And then we love Brown. So at the end of the day, if you want to give me a defensive lineman, we'll take him. If you want to give me a cornerback, we'll take them. Just get us someone on defense we can work with. And by the way, I got to take off. But, hey, this was fun, dude. And congrats again on the 4 years. Hey, if you're watching this show and you haven't subscribed to Titans and Truth or any of these guys, you better get over there and do that. So tighten up that like button, and you guys have a good one, all right? Take care, guys.
Thanks a lot, man. No. But that would be Mark, a.k.a. Titan Upload, with us, and I appreciate everybody sticking with it. I know people got stuff to do, and I've been long-winded, but we having a good time anyway.
Hell yeah.
And so a guy that I was talking about, and Jacque and Mr. Titan, we're going to talk about in just a minute, a guy that I talked about, I mentioned this on the radio in a text. I know it's probably not going to happen. What's up, Big O, by the way? I know this is not going to happen, but I would love to see either Quinnen Williams or Leonard Williams on this defensive line. I would love to see either one of those two paired up with Jeffrey Simmons. Right. I honestly think our D linemen would just turn from mediocre to damn near scary. Honestly.
So I like Quinnen Williams. I do. I liked him when he was coming out of college. Just the productivity is not there with the Jets. And literally, that's just the Jets, period. And when you leave the Jets, your productivity goes up. But Quinnen Williams is literally, he's our heavy package. Can he come in and produce? Right now, my thing is on the defensive line. We can bring in everybody, but can they come in and produce? That's my thing. Exactly. And it goes to a lot where you remember when we had Jim Washburn. That was one of the best defensive linemen coach that we had, literally. I mean, our defensive line was the top 5 in the league at that time. When we lost him, we started to see the defensive line go down. We started playing slower. If you notice, our defensive line doesn't have a dog where they come off the edge or they come off the ball real quickly. The only person that does it is Big Simmons, Jeffrey. And I feel like if you can coach Quentin up, he can probably be the same. He can be the same player, but it all comes back down to coaching. I mean, we see what's happening to the defense now. Literally, we lost Dean Pease. The defense looks lost. Like they forgot how to play football. And it's like, literally, go back to fundamentals and technique. I also like Desmond King. I always like Desmond King when he was coming out of college. Desmond King, man, is one of those corners that you can put in the slot, and he'll be productive quietly. And Stephon Gilmore comes in here. He plays his technique perfect. That's why he was able to be productive when he was when he's currently with the Patriots. I mean, it's nothing different, but it's just if you don't have the coaching, fall back on technique. Technique will save you every time. If you have the coaching technique, be good.
Absolutely. Mr. Titan?
He hit the that's spot on. But I would say for anything in the defensive line, anything right now would be nice, as even for depth, just because Clowney, I don't think is 100% in shape. I think that's what happens. I think he gets tired throughout the whole game, and just to kind of switch it up here and there, and actually have enough guys to switch, or even like you said, Williams, just come in there, man. Imagine if Clowney's like tired, because you always see that though. You always see Clowney with his hands on his hips all the time, and I'm like, what's wrong? Are you tired? Are you tired?
That's
man?
true.
Again, he wasn't with training camp with us at all. So again, we don't know how in shape was he ready. And then Vic Beasley as well. He never showed up in training camp because I don't know what he was doing. So that's another thing. I think just adding more depth to our defensive line would help us out in the long run, regardless who it is. We just need extra bodies.
Just imagine if we had preseason. I mean, literally, just imagine if we would have had a preseason, how much learning the rookies could have done and how much in shape that Clowney would have, man. Whew.
And it's crazy to think about it, man, because I was one of them that are like, oh, no, I don't care for preseason. It's good. Now you look at it and look how important it is to us. It's just this game. But no, it's not, man. It's to shape up these players and stuff. And it's truly – is important to have a preseason, man.
I agree. And so, and I like that. I mean, I would definitely love some help on the defensive line. Stephon Gilmore at the right price. And I said this on, I texted this on Jared and the GM. I said this. With Stephon Gilmore, if I go to the table with Belichick and we're talking this trade, if he's saying, I want your first round pick for Stephon Gilmore, I said this. I am immediately getting up from the table saying, I thank you for your time. Thank you for your time. I'm going to get on out of here because it's not going to work for me. But if it is a second round pick, I'm like, if I'm leaving the table, he says, well, let's see about your second round pick. I'm turning around thinking, all right. I'm like Leonardo DiCaprio in Django. I'm thinking, okay, you might have my curiosity right now. You might have my curiosity. Continue. I'm willing to listen to you. Mm-hmm. But if he says maybe a second round and Beasley maybe get him off the books, or a third round pick, I'm thinking, all right, let's talk business. Let's go ahead and iron this trade out so I can go ahead and announce this out to the world that we're about to get Stephon Gilmore. How do you want to do this, second round of Beasley, or hold up, third rounder? And you want my you know what? I'll throw in a fourth rounder next year in 2022. I'll throw that in. Let's work that out right quick. Okay, we got a deal. Good. Titans getting Stephon Gilmore, y'all. That's what I would do.
Well, here's the thing, Truth. All right, remember, we have to look at his contract.
That's true.
What's left with Gilmore's contract, right? So
he's a $25 million hit.
Okay, remember that. And then remember that we have a bunch of players that we need to pay back. Right? We have Jonnu Smith, Jayon Brown, which I want him on the team again. Okay, you have multiple players on the team that we still need to pay. So that all
going down.
That all comes down in consideration and stuff. And then I just feel like, don't get me wrong, a third rounder, I'll be like all day. But just what's his value? Again, he's in this prime. I get that. I don't know, man. I don't know.
If you think about it, when we draft, we find our value, we find our gems second round and down. Literally, I mean,
agreed.
It's been some of those first round picks, so we've hit or miss. I mean,
Thursday Wilson.
Exactly. Literally, we hit and miss. So, do I really want to give him my second round when I know we get value? And that's where John Robinson shines. I'm like, second round, third round, fourth round. John Robinson is a genius. So it's one of those things. It's like, Stephon, I want to bring you in. I mean, trust me, if we bring him in and we paying him out for, like you said, Mr. Titans contract, that's a huge hit. And we have other players that we literally have to sign. And think about it, guys. Literally, our team, the winning team and the winning formula we have now is mostly draft picks. Literally, mostly draft picks. And that's the Patriot way. That's how the Patriots operated. So it'll be a dream. That'll be a dream if John can somehow pull that off and just make it where he can restructure the contract where it's team friendly.
Restructure, yeah.
Man, whew.
Now, I will say this: big old Titan, threw an idea out there. A little crazy, but it's a dream. I would say, definitely said, well, I give up a first round pick for Judon. I'm like, I like Matthew Judon, but number one, the Ravens are not going to trade with us. They're not going to trade with us.
No, they're trying to build for us.
Exactly. Exactly.
They ain't gonna do that.
Mr. Titan, you've been hearing me a whole lot. I've been saying that many a moon. They are building for us. They are trying to build to beat us. No other team. So they're not going to give a Matthew Judon to us. I just don't think so. But, I mean, there's some guys out there, William Jackson from the Bengals. I like to watch him and see how he does. But, I mean, with Isaiah Wilson just looking like a lost cause, at least right now. I mean, Riley Reed from Minnesota, maybe a tackle if we do need a tackle. But, I mean, I think we're okay with Sambrailo and Dennis Kelly. It's not the greatest pair of tackles right now. I mean, of course, I would love to have Taylor Lewan instead. But, I mean, you got Sambrailo. You got
– that, man. He didn't do – You didn't hear his name when they were playing, and that's good. For an offensive line,
that is.
You don't hear your name, you're good. So –
that is very true. That is very true. But, we'll definitely be keeping up on the trades that happen. If there are any deals that come out, we're going to talk about it.
Oh, yeah,
either Tennessee Titans Weekly going to talk about it. Mr. Titan's going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about Titan Upload. You're going to hear about it in one way or another. But I thank everybody for sticking in. I know it's been almost an hour and a half. I'm going to be watching some wrestling soon. But we're going to get into this Bengals game in just a bit because we came off our first loss. The Bengals nearly defeated the Cleveland Browns. They lost 37-34. Obviously, we got first-round pick Joe Burrow. We're on the road for the first time in almost a month. And you know what? I'm sorry. I put this out here on before we do get to the Bengals. I want to ask this question to both of you. And I put this question on both Twitter and Facebook. And I asked, do you think J-Rob is going to make a move eventually before the trade deadline? Or am I wrong to think J-Rob is just going to just sit back and sit on his hands and not do anything at the trade deadline?
Go ahead. So like I said, he's on the phone right now, literally on the phone right now, trying to gauge what he can get, what value he can get, what's the contracts look like. Do I think it'll happen? I think a small trade will happen, nothing tremendously, not a big splash, but maybe bring in some depth. I think it's more of depth that we're looking for versus a big name player. So I can see him bringing in more depth versus a Stephon Gilmore. Because, Christian Fulton is hurt. We don't know how long he's going to be out for. So do you want to roll with Ty Smith? I mean, I'm just saying.
I'm sorry. No disrespect to Ty Smith, but the answer is
they're picking on him.
Hell no. Hell no.
They're picking on him.
That.
They're picking on him.
And so I'm sorry, we killing them. But I mean, a lot of people have said that on Facebook and on Twitter and saying, don't expect J-Rob to make no move. He's going to sit on it. A lot of people have said that they think that J-Rob is not going to do anything before the trade deadline. I have a percentage. At first, I thought maybe like 65% chance he might do something. I'm actually down to about 40%, maybe even 35%. I just don't know if he's going to do anything. I think he's going to basically come out after the trade deadline and say, we're in good shape the way we are. We're 5-1. We got a good solid football team. I'm gonna see if I can sound like J-Rob. I don't think we need to really do anything right now. I think we have a very good solid football team, and we're gonna go out here. And I'm proud of these guys. We're putting out a team that we can be proud of, and we're gonna definitely do everything we can to win and bring this team a Super Bowl.
That is good, man.
That was
know.
not bad.
I got nervous for a second. I thought I was talking to J-Rob for a second.
I thought I tried J-Rob. If you hear this, I'm just having some fun with you. You know I love you. Good guy, J-Rob.
Best GM so far in Titans history.
Right.
Hey, absolutely. But getting into this game with the Cincinnati Bengals, I mean, you got a team that's 1-5-1, and as Jake, Jake said, we can't sleep on this team, y'all. I know a lot of people are thinking this is the let's get our stuff together game, let's get our get fixed up game, but this Bengal team, there's a quarterback. I know my younger brother Christian, he's a Bengals fan. He was mad saying, I hate that I got a team that can't win. And I told him, I said, take solace in this, little brother. Y'all got a quarterback.
Right.
Y'all got a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
If nothing else, y'all got a quarterback.
Yep.
And that's the thing going into this game, which of course will lead into my Blue Enforcer 4 points to victory. I'm going to go through them right quick, and then I'm going to get y'all thoughts on this. The Bengals are coming into this game just trying to find something. They feel like they lost the game they should have won, and they're going to be upset. We're going to be upset because we lost to Pittsburgh. We should still be undefeated. And going into this game, I think the first thing that we have to do, point number one, I use the word control. We have got to control the ball, control this game, control the clock, run the football. Cincinnati's 28th against the run, one of the worst run defenses in the league. They give up about 133 yards a game. This is the perfect comeback game for Derrick Henry to gash this defense.
Yep.
And then number two on offense, and then I'll get y'all thoughts on this before we go to the defensive side. We got to find a way to get the tight ends back involved. Jonnu and Ferkser, they were not involved at all against the Steelers. I think I've heard some people say, they had to help chip in, the block on T.J. Watt and Bud Dupree and things like that. That's why they weren't as involved in the Steeler game as they should have been. But I definitely see that, and I see a key matchup being our wide receivers against those corners. They're 24th against the pass. I think A.J. Brown could have another nice day, possibly. But what do you guys think of my first 2 points?
I mean, as Hawk would say, facts, no paper.
Facts.
I mean, since he has the 28th ranked defense, literally. I mean, their rush defense is 22nd. So this is going to be a Derrick Henry game. Literally, we know this. I mean, we said it against when we played the Texans. They had one of the worst run defenses, and we see what Derrick did. Derrick can easily run for 250 plus, literally. I mean, 250 plus. The offense just has to play their game. I mean, literally, we know we're a running team first, passing team second. To the point two, Chris, regarding tight ends, Jonnu Ferkser will get involved. I mean, I'm not scared of the Cincy secondary, and we know we have LaShawn Sims who went to Cincinnati, so that's the one key ex-Titan that we do have over there. So he's trying to give away the secrets. But I mean, they have a good safety, and I forgot the safety's name, but he's a pretty solid safety. And they go with Chris Jackson, but I mean, Willie Jackson. Is Willie Jackson?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Willie Jackson.
Yeah,
and he's coming off of a concussion protocol. I believe he practiced today.
Exactly. So they're not big threats. I mean, you can see Corey Davis having a big game as well. So this is more of a good bounce back game, but we know we've been in tight games all this year. We was in a tight game with Jacksonville, and I'm not saying anything about the Kitties, but I mean, they're still Jacksonville. So it's one of those things. Don't take Cincy lightly. Literally, don't take it lightly. They don't have nothing to lose but the game. What do they have?
And that's the most dangerous team right there, man. When they got nothing to lose, that means they'll throw out anything they can. And you know what? Joe Burrows has been slinging the ball. And don't get me wrong, that's not the first game that they should have won. They should have beaten the Colts.
Yep.
I was upset.
Yep.
I agree. Man. I'm like, they got it. And then they ended up losing the game. But yeah, man, it's an NFL team. Every given Sunday, you gotta show up. You can't if we show up like we did the first half of the Steelers game. I mean, it could get an ugly game, but yeah, again, don't Don't sleep on them. Hopefully, we come out with some energy just because, like you said, we could have won that game. We should have won the game. Should be undefeated still.
Yeah.
But they do, man.
And we got some comments coming in, of course. Blavin Patel saying since he can't stop the run. CW saying corners are good if they're healthy. Seeing what happened in the playoff game, obviously going up against speed. Yeah, we did. And we're going to get to the defense in a minute. Travis brings up a comment. I'm going to talk about this on my defensive points. He said it's not the players, it's the coaching staff. Maybe Shane Bowen wasn't ready yet to be defensive coordinator or to call plays or something like that. And that could be a very valid point with that. But I definitely agree with that. I know a lot of people thinking Derek is going to run for 200 plus. Michael Vrabel said 300. I like to go for 300. Right. I would definitely get down with that. And I believe the safety's name, somebody said Jesse Bates, I believe is the name.
Yes.
And so, though definitely with that. But my defensive points, and I believe Corey Davis should be featured a little bit more with that. So, I mean, he's just coming back. So I could definitely see this as a good offensive game. On the other side, on the defensive side of the ball, with Joe Burrow, we got to get sacks, and we got to cover a little bit tighter. We've been talking about this all show. Got to get some sacks. Got to cover a little bit tight. We cannot let Joe Burrow get the ball out quick. We got to make him think a little bit and be able to hold the ball a little bit so we can get to him and sack him. Joe Burrow's getting the ball out pretty quickly as well and making decisive decisions. So sometimes maybe we need to make him make some bad decisions and get some interceptions, but definitely got to make sure we get some sacks and get after Joe Burrow. Burrow is a good quarterback, ladies and gentlemen. I loved him coming out of LSU. I honestly hated that he played so well and that we, did better because in the very beginning of the year, it looked like Joe Burrow, I think, was slated to be maybe a third-round pick way back in the beginning of last season. He was thinking maybe he would come out maybe the third or fourth round, and then as he got better, he was right there in the Titans' wheelhouse around 18 to 20. And it looked like it would have been a perfect marriage, Titans and Joe Burrow. But we ended up getting better with Tannehill. He ended up winning the national championship. So do not sleep on Joe Burrow, ladies and gentlemen. He is a very, very good quarterback. Now, he may not have no great coaching, but he's a good quarterback. But last but not least, my point number 4, and I know this is getting so old. This is like a broken record. I've been beating a dead horse, and I know I've been saying this pretty much all year. Get off the damn field on third down. I'm like, we are the worst third down team in the league, giving up almost 60% conversion on third down. That's god-awful. God-awful.
It actually went up, man. It actually went up. Because I was on Titans Blitz and they talked about it. So it was 61 now.
Oh my God. That's horrible. That's horrible.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad.
Get off the field on fourth down. And I think the defensive line should have an advantage in this game because Cincinnati's offensive line is very much banged up. As I could go look at their injuries. I'm trying to slowly bring it up on their SB Nation site. So y'all may not see me for a second, but some guys are not practicing. Bobby Hart, their offensive tackle, Trey Hopkins, their center, and also Jonah Williams did not practice today for the Cincinnati Bengal offensive line. And Jonah Williams is dealing with a stinger. I think when he went out, he did not come back in the game against Cleveland as I was watching. So they got 3 offensive linemen. We don't know how they're going to look later on this week. We'll definitely be keeping up the task, but this could be a good game for our defensive line for Big Jeff to just wreak havoc once again. So points 3 and 4. Mr. Ty, what you got?
What'd you say? Sorry about that. I get zoned out.
I know you got to go to work in the morning, but but definitely saying, what did you think of points 3 and 4 as far as, got to get out to Joe Burrow and get off the damn field?
You got to. You understand, by the end of the game, the defense is going to be worn down just because sometimes when it's like 3 and 2, like 3rd and 2. I'm like, just give them they're gonna get a first down. Just give it to them already. Let's kind of like in my mind, I'm like, okay, let's just start over. Let's start over first and 10. Let's try it again. And even that, sometimes they'll get a penalty and stuff, and it'll be like 3rd and 15, and they still get it. And I'm just like, come on, like
exactly
a little pressure. Like I don't know who said it. I think it was Upload that was saying it. Just a little bit of pressure with Big Ben, and he looked uncomfortable. I think Armani Hooker was the one that blocked up. Just put your hand, swat the ball down, at least some pressure, because again, we just give the quarterback kind of all day in the pocket. But again, to Big Ben's recognition, he was slinging the ball. I mean, he was 2 seconds and he was throwing it already. So
exactly.
But
Jacque, what you got?
So I mean, Chris, to your point, get off the field. On 3rd down, you can get off the field, literally. I mean, Joe Burrow is slinging it. I mean, he could be the rookie. He will be the rookie of the year. We know that, definitely. But I mean, he has two to throw to. AJ Green. He has some receivers to throw to, but
he's got some weapons.
He got weapons, exactly. But getting pressure is the key. Literally, if we can get pressure, the turnovers will come up, and we will have a turnover in this game. But the same defensive scheme that you played against the Bills and the same adjustments that you made in the second half when we played the Steelers, you need to implement in this game, literally. Scheme.
And do it the whole time.
Do it the whole time. Make adjustments. When it's time to make adjustments, when it's time to take personnel out, do that. That's our problem. Like I said, I'm not sleeping on Cincy, not by a long shot. But at the same time, this is a game where you have the opportunity to fix your issues on defense. Literally, you can fix them with this one game. And my thing is consistent.
And I agree because, I mean, as Joshua Bond said, the Bengals are only converting 38% of their 3rd down. They're probably thinking over there, oh, yeah, our 3rd down percentage is probably going to go up in this game and things like that. I mean, like you said, they have, they got weapons with AJ Green. Tyler Boyd has been playing out of his mind. He leads their team in receptions right now. You got Drew Sample, I believe the tight end out of Washington, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, but that offensive line is horrible. They don't really have a running game. Joe Mixon is probably not going to play in this game, so they're going to be leaning on Giovanni Bernard and Samaje Perine, although Perine was a good running back in college. So, Burrow has been sacked 28 times this year. I mean, if maybe we finally get home for once, if we can get, if we could get to him. So that's something that we definitely got to work on as far as that. But going into my prediction, and I want to see what y'all predictions are with that. So Titan Up Low, what do you have as the prediction for this game?
Is it me or you? You said Titan Upload. So, like, we all know we're like, you said Titan Upload, so I'm like, is it?
I did say Titan Upload too. I'm like, oh my God.
It was funny that me and Doc both looked at each other like,
Mr. Titan. Hey, look, this is a live show, y'all. Mistakes do happen. So we're gonna carry on. Keep going. Keep rolling the camera. Keep rolling the camera. That's it.
We both looked at each other like, you want to take this or me? Go ahead, Tennessee Titans Weekly. Go ahead, Jacque.
So
I screw up, y'all.
I'm looking at offense bouncing back. I'm looking at Derrick Henry having a big game. I'm going 35-17 Titans.
Okay.
I know.
Okay.
I had 27-17. That's my prediction. 27-17.
Okay, I like it. I think I'm around close to the Titan Upload. I mean, I'm doing it again. Again, this is a live show, ladies and gentlemen. You got the cameras are still rolling, so this is live footage. Yes, you can laugh at me on this one. I cannot take it back. I can't take it back. I did it. But my prediction, as Mr. Titan has said, finally got it right for once. I'm going, they will be 6-1, 28-13. I think they win this game. I think Derrick Henry does bounce back with a big game. I'm going 145 yards rushing. I think he's going to bowl over that defense. Now that Carlos Dunlap is not there, and I mean Geno Atkins may get traded too, so that might be nice. So this defense cannot stop the run. I'm going 28-13. I agree with Jacque on that. I think this is a perfect game to get some things fixed, get some things worked out, try a few different things that maybe you could use against the Bears and Indy coming up. We got to try some different things. So I'm going 28-13. The Titans will be 6-1 after that game. And I know we had some comments coming in. I know someone said 31-17. Michael Vrabel said 250 plus for Derrick Henry. He's also saying 45-21. Blavin Patel says we're gonna hit 42 again.
Maybe.
And and Michael Vrabel did mention a guy that we also got to watch out for as well. T. Higgins from Clemson is a good receiver.
He's been
so we got to watch out for him. I would have liked to have drafted him. I would have liked him, but definitely got to they will rest Henry in the second half. If we're up big, maybe we should. Maybe we should. So I definitely like that. Travis Johnson says 20-13. We find a way to play down to our competition. I hope we don't. We better not play down to our competition.
Right.
We better not. Although sometimes that has happened. That has definitely happened. So I like some of these predictions. But to end the show, a couple of things to end the show. First off, I got my, this is Shut Your Pie Hole Day. And this is where, of course, I give something that I've seen or I've heard, and I just think, shut your pie hole, man. And you know what? Honestly, I had forgotten it was that time of the month until I heard this news story on the radio in baseball. As, of course, everybody knows, last night the LA Dodgers win the World Series. They are the World Series champions, beating the Tampa Bay Rays. And a guy by the name of Justin Turner, their third baseman, he had a COVID test, I think, before the game, and it was inconclusive. But during the game, comes to find out, he tested positive for COVID. So they, of course, MLB officials, they told the Dodgers, you got to immediately pull him out of the game. You got to pull him out of the game since he has COVID. So that was around the seventh inning. So he had to go into isolation for the rest of the game. Dodgers end up winning the game. This dumb idiot decides to say, no, I can't stay isolated. I got to go celebrate with my team. And he basically just said to the MLB officials, screw what y'all said. I'm going to celebrate with my teammates. Even though the MLB officials told him, you cannot come out there. You cannot come back out here. You have got to stay isolated. He said, screw that. I'm going out here to celebrate with my teammates. Had a mask on, rips it down under his chin to take the photo. So he is in the team photo while he got COVID.
Hugging him.
He is in the team photo with COVID, probably spreading it to the rest of the team. They're finna head, I think they're right now isolated in their hotel, I believe in Houston, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's where the bubble was for baseball. And so they're waiting on results before they could go back to LA. So I'm thinking, dude, the ultimate selfishness. He talk about, I got to celebrate with my teammate. Man, shut your pie hole, man. You are spreading COVID to the rest of your team. Then you get back to LA. Y'all going to probably have a little celebration of something. You can end up spreading it to more people, to those guys' families. All those guys on that team, the managers, the equipment managers, the other guys on the team, they got families. You could be spreading it to so many people by being selfish like that. Come on, man. Shut your pie hole and stay isolated. Come on. What?
Hey, you right.
Everything is right about that.
Shut your pie hole.
Exactly. And and also shout out to Mookie Betts from Nashville. Shout out to Betts getting that. So I would not tell him to shut your pie hole. I give him congratulations.
Congratulations, Nashville product.
Jason Turner, shut your pie hole and recover from COVID. Stupid. Stupid, 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 as Randy Orton would say. And of course, also, Joshua Bond put it, Houston, the Texans had to shut down their facility because I believe a player tested positive for COVID as well. So hopefully, whoever is tested for COVID, hopefully they get better and things like that. Michael Verbal said, "Die, Mr. Titan, you look tired."
Yeah,
But I understand.
I've been up since 3 in the morning.
Oh dag. Yeah, we gotta get you. We finna let you get some rest in a minute. But I mean, hey, I give a shout out to Mr. Titan because he does a very, very important job working, keeping our airport safe. So
Thank you.
Shout out to your friendly TSA agent, Mr. Titan.
Yes, sir. And by the way, they played here in Dallas because this morning there was like 1,000,001 Dodger fans coming through the checkpoints. It was ridiculous. Wow. Yeah. So they're over here in Globe Life Stadium.
Wow, that is crazy. But obviously, we're finna get out of here on this note because y'all done hung with me for almost 2 hours. I thank all of y'all for hanging with me. I know y'all got other things to do, and I do too, but we've had a good time today. And I just want to say from the bottom of my heart to every last one of you who are watching this show, especially to Tennessee Titans Weekly, Mr. Titan, Titan Upload, Titans 2, Miss Teresa, TD Teron Davenport, Jim Wyatt, anybody that has been a part of the show, Austin from A to Z Sports, everybody who has been a part of this show, who has helped me these 4 years, I just want to say first and foremost, thank you. Thank you for helping me last 4 years because some of y'all could have just said, you know what, this show sucks. I'm not watching no more. Why should I watch this guy? He stinks. He sucks. But y'all have stuck with this crazy guy for 4 years, and I'm going to give you the best that I got for 4 more years and 4 more years after that and 4 more years after that.
There you go.
So I'm not going anywhere. None of us are going anywhere. And Joshua Bond saying starting up his channel soon. Yeah, we'll definitely have to talk. We'll definitely have to link up. And but I appreciate that. And also, last but not least, I have got to say thank you to the one and only, the first lady of Titans and True World 2. First of all, my main lady, my truest love. I'm explaining in a second.
I was about to be
first of all, I will say, look, I got this, y'all. First of all, my main lady, my number one lady, my beautiful wife, Ashley. I thank my wife for putting up with me while I do this because I'm probably taking away from spending time with her, having dinner, and I probably drive her crazy with all my talk. So I wanted to hear this. Thank you, Honey Bun, for sticking with me all this time. And when I mentioned the First Lady of Titans and Truth, I was meaning to also mention Miss Tamika Truth Hurts Wembley. Me and her go back a long ways. A good friend of mine, a lady of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. Of course, I represent the Blue family. But Miss Tamika, of course, me and her, we went back a long time ago, 4.5 years ago, and Jacque, you gonna know this. Limelight.
Yep,
Limelight. Rest in peace, Limelight.
Wow.
Limelight Entertainment Club in Nashville. If any of you who are from Nashville watching this show, you know what Limelight is about.
Yep.
Me and Miss Truth Hurst, Miss Tamika, we talked about this concept in that very club. That is where Titans and Truth got started. Right there on October 20, and it started October 26th, 2016. So to Miss Truth Hurts, Miss Tamika, thank you for helping me get started. And she's in Charlotte, North Carolina. Shout out to her and everybody that has supported me. Jacque, Mr. Titan, please give your last words where everybody can find your great content. And I'm going to let y'all get out of here because y'all have stuck with me for the longest.
Mad respect to you, Titans and Truth and Chris. I've been watching you since 2016. Like, it's crazy. Like, I came across your channel around then, so I've always known about you. I've seen you at the games. You might have seen me, but I said, hey, That's Titans truth right there. I see him. Hey, I see him on the jumbotron.
I will be back.
Right, me too. Man, respect, man. Like I said, you've been in the game for 4 years, man. And you've been putting out great content. Literally, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe to his channel, Mr. Titan. All of us to subscribe to us. So I mean,
get to 1,000, y'all. Help a brother out. Help me get to 800 first. Help me get to 800.
Let's get him to 1,000. But it's an honor for you to allow us to come on the show. I know if Hawk was here, he'd say the same thing. And just to be man, we really appreciate you allowing us on the anniversary show, man, to tighten up. And guys, you can find us on Twitter at Titans Weekly 24/7, Instagram at Tennessee Titans Weekly, and also our YouTube channel at Tennessee Titans Weekly. And my co-host ain't here, so I'm representing him for him. But guys, like I tell you, tighten up, subscribe to Mr. Titan, Titan Truth, Titan Upload, Titan.
Welcome.
So I mean, like I said, brother, it's an honor and tighten up, and I really appreciate you allowing me on the show, man.
Much appreciated, Mr. Titan.
Yeah, I like just to say, I mean, I'm probably like the newest person on the YouTube scene, but I've been watching you. I've been watching Upload. I've been watching Weekly. I've been watching all you guys, in the shadow. So, again, loved everything that you guys do, man. Appreciate it. Because, again, Gerald McGrath said it, man, like, there's not that much. Well, now there is a lot, but before there's not. They don't talk about us in the news and stuff and media and stuff. They only talk about the bad, and when we got COVID, that's the only time they talk about the Titans. So it's really nice to know that I have someone to talk to about Titan stuff, and they know exactly what I'm talking about. People that were over here in Dallas would only talk about Derrick Henry because that's the only thing they know, the big name. And when talking about Jonnu Smith, they that's the funny thing is that it's so so much with like the media, and that's all they know is Derrick Henry, Derrick Henry. Like there's more people on the team, so it's really nice just to have that luxury of I could just call you up and we just talk for an hour, just talking about Titans. So again, keep doing your thing. I mean, guys, if you guys haven't subscribed, man, this guy busts his ass every Wednesday and gives a great show. I can barely do a live show to save my life. So, again, thank you, Chris, so much for letting me join you and also being my friend, man. And like the same thing for Jacque, man. We're brothers and we all go for the same team, and there's no – it's a group effort, like there's no remorse about, hey, you have this or that. No, man, we do this together. If you need to jump on my show, I jump on your show. You jump on mine, regardless. Brothers and family, man, family. So.
And that's how I'm going to end it, everybody. Let me tell y'all something about this. Mr. Titan has been grinding. All these guys have been grinding. So, this ain't just about me. This is about all of you. The fact is, all these guys have been grinding. Mr. Titan, like you said, I was his first guest on his show.
Yeah.
And he has been putting out major work from, his Titans talk, getting Gerald McGrath, his cage talk with some of the MMA fighters. I've been paying attention to that as well. He got Amy Wells on his show. So let me tell you, he has been grinding. He has been grinding from day one that he's been doing it. And I love his background. By the way, make sure you keep putting the Kevin Byard star.
Oh, right there, baby. Right there.
Right there. Of course, Jacque and Hawk, Tennessee Titans Weekly, they had Vince Young on. They had their show last week with Pittsburgh, with their Pittsburgh podcast on, which is something I got to do, start connecting with other teams and stuff like that. They've been putting out major work for a long time. They reached 1,000 not too long, a good while back. So congrats to everybody on that. Titan Upload, y'all know about him. Fan to Fan Network, if you hadn't checked that out, make sure you do that. And of course, Jake and Justin of Titans Tube, they're going to be making their picks soon, which I sucked on my picks.
I don't remember if I did
good. Way better.
We did yeah.
See, we all struggled on our picks. We all struggled on our picks. So, definitely. But first of all, I thank all these guys. I thank each and every last one of you, Michael Vrabel, Zach Carpenter, AZ Mick, Miss Margarita, definitely Miss Loretta. I cannot forget Crazy Titan lady, Miss Loretta. We go way back. She was a fan of her and Miss Margarita were fans of Titans and Truth before there was a Titans and Truth. I guarantee it. They knew about me before Titans and Truth. When I was just writing little fan blogs for Music City Miracles, they knew about that, and some other guys did too. So definitely shout out to everybody. Thank all of you. Lewis Duffield, I Big Old Titan. There's a whole bunch of you. Every last one
Al
of you.
Pierce, yeah.
Al Pierce, Orla Struck, I can't forget him. Reggie B. I mean, there's too many to name. Every last one of you. If I didn't say your name, blame my brain, not my heart. You know I got love for you. Alton Hood for the music intro. You know, Tighten Up, the remix and the regular song, because we all know it. We all love it. So thank every last one of you for these 4 years. I'm gonna keep grinding. I'm gonna keep working hard for you. And of course, to TD, Jim White, anybody. We try to get jobs. Hook us up, y'all. We want to get in with y'all too. We want to be in the press box. We want in on the press box. Get me to the skybox. but ladies and gentlemen, thank y'all for tuning in. It is finally over. All y'all can go chill now. I know y'all done heard me enough. So thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for everything. And we are going to get out of here, call it a good night. I'm trying to find that last song to put it out.
I saw that. I saw him looking for it. I was like, what are you doing?
So we going to end it right here. Okay. We ended it right here. Shout out to Swisher Steve. This is what we do. Thank you, Pop and Go. Good night, everybody. And remember, tighten up, y'all.